Okay, brothers and sisters, this is the time where I will share my homework. I have to apologize first because this is actually copy and paste from articles and textbooks which I've read. So please forgive me if the presentation is a bit awkward. The homework was actually based on the YMBA Senior Part 2 Dhamma session past year questions, which is recurring for 4 years, which is in the year 2008, 2012, 2013, 2018, based on the same question. Explain the Buddhist doctrine of three siddhata, which is the Tilakkhana. So the doctrine of the three siddhata or Tilakkhana lays the foundation of the Buddhist understanding of the true nature of all existence or conditioned formations. In the Pali term is Sankara. The Buddha had expounded this teaching for the first time in the Samyutta Nikaya 22.59, entitled the Ratana Sutta. The Buddha had disclosed the nature of all kinds of forms, whether as human, things, process, or natural phenomena, being in the past, present, future, internal or external, solid or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, are transient, forever changing, which is impermanent in Pali, anicca, unsatisfactory in Pali, it is dukkha, and non-self in Pali, it is anatta. It had become the basis of emancipation, where one gains insight of vipassana, wisdom, panya, and enlightenment body, which enable one to be freed from the unending grasping and clinging to things that led to the unending cycle of rebirth in the samsaric world. The excerpt from the Dhammapada chapter 20, Magga Vagga, in verses 277, 278, and 279, listed the essence of the three signatas, which is Sappe Sankara Anicca, Sappe Sankara Dukkha, Sappe Dhamma Anatta. So it is understood that the first stanza, Sappe Sankara Anicca, denotes that all Sankara, or in other words, the conditioned things, are built up of these four chief elements. That is, the earth elements, water elements, fire elements, and wind element, as cited in Majjhima Nikaya 28, Mahahatipatthupama Sutta. These elements exist due to the availability of the antecedent conditions or processes. They are not everlasting nor static. They are liable to be vanished, perish, came to an end when the supporting conditions cease to support its existence. Therefore, all conditioned things are constantly being in the transient state, in the flux of change, and thus are impermanent. The Buddha concluded that human beings is a compound of several factors, and his supposedly persistent personality is in truth nothing more than a collection of ceaselessly changing process. In fact, a continuous becoming or bhava. Sappe Sankara Dukkha. All Sankara or conditioned things are unsatisfactory, imperfect, unstable. Dukkha is explicated as the physical and mental dissatisfaction of changing conditions, as in birth, aging, illness, death, not getting what one wishes, to avoid acquaintance with the undesirables, or failing to get what one wants, and in short, the five aggregates of clinging and grasping is dukkha. Because all conditioned things are impermanent, and because we fail to recognize this, but cling to things as if they were permanent, there is suffering, pain, unsatisfactoriness, sorrow, affliction, anxiety, dissatisfaction, discomfort, anguish, stress, misery, frustration, and so on. This is dukkha. Dukkha is the stress, dissatisfaction, suffering, and so on that is experienced by all sentient beings who are not fully enlightened. Sabbe Dhamma Anatta. All dhammas or conditioned, including also the unconditioned things, namely the five aggregates consisting of the form, feelings, perception, determination or choices, and consciousness, have no unchanging self or soul, and thus non-self or insubstantiality. Hence, one should have the right understanding that this is not mine, I'm not this is not myself. Let's take a closer look at each component of the three characteristics of the natural existence. Firstly, it is anicca. It is usually translated as impermanence. It's the first of the three characteristics of existence, where impermanence underscores the dynamic and changing nature of reality. Impermanence of things is revealed in the moments involving different stages of existence, namely the rising, continuity or remaining stable, passing and changing of things, or the disappearance of things that have become or arisen. This means that these things never persist in the same way, but that they are vanishing, dissolving from moment to moment, explained in Visuddhimagga 7, section 3. When one clings to conditioned formations such as the desired but perishable phenomena or beings, which are impermanent, craving arose through one's lustful thought that one may be able to possess them eternally. Anyway, the truth is, things last a shorter time period than one usually supposed it would be. Consequently, the wish couldn't be fulfilled, and thus it brings suffering or unsatisfactoriness or dukkha. We may find in Digha Nikaya 16, Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the following verses. Anicca vata sankhara upada vaya dhamino. Upacitwa nirujanti desang upa samo sukho. This verse literally denotes that any rebirth which inevitably arises due to our abhisankara cannot be maintained to our satisfaction. Any birth ends up in death and suffering by nature. It arises and passes away. Those sankhara are types of Dhamma that can be stopped from arising. When they are extinguished with insight, we became free and detached. Hence, their pacification brings tranquility. According to Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the insight or comprehension of the impermanence and insubstantiality of all phenomena of existence can be gained by direct meditative experience, heads to two lists of the insight knowledge. Firstly, contemplation of impermanence, anicca nupassana, is the first of the 18 chief of insight. Secondly, the contemplation of arising and vanishing, upadaya bhaya nupassana jnana, is the first of 9 kinds of knowledge which lead to the purification by knowledge and vision of the path progress. By observing them, we become able to accept the reality not merely out of faith or intellectual conviction, but out of our direct experience. In this way, we advance from merely hearing about the truth to seeing it within ourselves. Now we come to dukkha. Dukkha may be defined as mentally or bodily pain, sufferings, unsatisfactoriness, satisfactoriness, it may arise in the following circumstances. Firstly, all suffering caused by the fact of being born and being through one's karma tied to the consequent state of transmigration. To this is loosely attached to the threefold division of dukkha as dukkha, sankhara, viparinama, due to change. Secondly, due to illness and all bodily states of suffering. Thirdly, pain and bodily discomfort through outward circumstances as extreme climates, want of food, knock bites, etc. Fourthly, mental distress and painful states caused by the death of one's beloved or other misfortune to friends or personal belongings, which is the feeling of domanassa. Buddha had disclosed the Four Noble Truths, revealing the fact that there is dukkha, origination of dukkha. There exists a state where we may put an end to dukkha and had recommended the way to eradicate dukkha in the Dhamma Sutta. He had given an overview of the type of sufferings that includes mental and physical pain and unrest, where he discloses that rebirth is suffering, old age is suffering, illness is suffering, death is suffering, associated with the dislike is suffering, separation from the like is suffering, failing to get what one wishes for is suffering. In brief, the five grasping aggregates are suffering. When one is greedily craving for certain materials or person, usually it is associated with lustful, hateful, and delusional thoughts. Whenever such craving couldn't be fulfilled, one feels that the suffering from the pain of aggression, grieving, loss, irritation, resentment, jealousy, etc., which might also lead to indigestion and physical pain. Dukkha has been classified further into their aspect for better understanding. They are 1. Dukkha, the intrinsic suffering. Bodily and mentally painful feelings are called intrinsic suffering because of their individual essence, including the pain of birth, old age, sickness, injuries, and death. Second, viparinama dukkha, suffering in change. Bodily and mental pleasant feelings are called suffering in change because things don't go the way they wanted it to be. Thirdly, sankhara dukkha, suffering due to formation, an underlying sense of insecurity, anxiety, or basic dissatisfaction. The feeling of equanimity and the remaining formation of three planes, which is the upada arising, Paya, the old age of destruction, Banga, breaking up and dissolution, are called suffering due to formation of sankhara, which brings dukkha. Hence, impermanence is not the cause of sufferings, but the mind has been conditioned by ignorance to thinking that eternal happiness can be obtained through things that are ephemeral and transient. Failure to see the real nature of impermanence and insubstantiality trigger the unpleasant mental feelings, domanassa, and stress. Tanha, which literally means thirst, is usually translated as craving. It is the root of suffering and of the ever-continuing cycle of rebirth. It is the eighth link in the dependent origination, but it's just samupada. It can be further divided into three types. Firstly, kama tanha, which is essential craving. This is craving for sense objects which provide pleasant feelings or craving for sensory pleasures. Tanha includes not only the desire for sense pleasure, wealth, and power, but also the desire for and attachment to ideas and ideals, views, opinions, theories, concept, and belief, which is also called Dhamma Tanha. Second is the bhava danha, craving for existence. It is a desire for certain type of rebirth and eternal life. It's driven by the wrong view of eternalism, which is meaning leading to an eternal life and about permanence. Lastly, vibhava tanha, craving for non-existence. It is craving not to experience unpleasant things in the current or future life, such as unpleasant people or situations. This sort of craving may include attempts at suicide and self-annihilation. This only results in further rebirth in a worse realm of existence. This type of craving, states by Pra Mongol, is driven by the wrong view of annihilationism, that there is no rebirth. Lastly, we will go to the third concept, anatta. Anatta has the meaning of soullessness, non-self, non-ego, egoless, impersonality. It is the last of the three characteristics of existence. The anatta doctrine teaches that neither within the bodily and mental phenomena or existence is there a soul, nor outside of them a creator God. Can be found anything that in the ultimate sense could be regarded as an self-existing real ego entity, soul, or any other abiding substance. In Khanda Sutta, the Buddha analyzed man into five aggregates, which is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. Accordingly, all compounded things are subject to arising and passing away, is the product of antecedent causes and therefore of dependent origination. The causes themselves are not everlasting nor static, but simply antecedent aspect of the same ceaseless becoming. As a result, we may conceive everything as the result of concatenation of dynamic processes, and therefore everything created of form is only created of form through these processes and not by any agency outside its own nature. Hence, all beings are conditioned by causes, are impermanent, and it is suffering, and that not self-characteristic in all dhammas. Meaning, there is no I, me, or mine in either of the conditioned or the unconditioned, that is nibbana. The teaching of the three marks of existence in the Pali Canon is credited to the Buddha, as it is said in the Visuddhimagga, a mere suffering exists, no sufferer is found. The deeds are, but no doer of the deeds is there. Nibbana is, but not the man that enters it. The path is, but not the traveler on it is seen. On the aspect of how to practice to free our mind from all this delusion, we can apply vipassana meditation. Besides listening to the Dhamma, one may acquire the insight and wisdom perceiving of impermanence, suffering, and non-self experientially. The vipassana meditation is one way to contemplate on rupa, where a meditator comes face to face with impermanence of oneself and realizes that one has no control over this phenomenon and that any attempt to manipulate it creates suffering. One thus learns to develop detachment and acceptance of anicca and openness to change, enabling us to live happily amid all the vicissitudes of life. Eventually, one is able to remove all sensual passion, remove all passion for material existence, remove all passions for becoming, remove all ignorance, remove and abolishes all conceit of I am. Saying that universal characteristic anicca, dukkha, anatta One overcomes DT, which is the wrong view that see things as permanent happiness with self or self or soul entity. On the contrary, one sees the truth in reality rightly and correctly. As conclusion, the Buddha speaks of the three kinds of illusion or perversions that grips a man's mind, namely wrong view, the illusion or perception of or distorted perception, and the unrighteous thought. Now, when a man is caught up with this illusion, he perceives things, views incorrectly. He perceives permanence in the impermanent, satisfactoriness in the unsatisfactory, self in what is not self, beauty in the repulsive. When one sees reality with insight wisdom means one sees things as they really are in the light of the three characteristics. Ignorance of these three, of self-deception about them, is by itself a potent cause for suffering. One becomes weary of dukkha. One becomes disillusioned, desires fades away. They are free from detachment, no longer committing volitional acts that kickstart rebirth. This is the path to purity. As the spiritual journey has been completed, rebirth is ended. That's all of my preparation. These are the references that I have made. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sister. One thing comment,
Yeah.
you don't use transmigration, please use rebirth. Don't use transmigration.
Okay.
Transmigration, the term is mean the soul.
Okay. I will
Oh,
correct that. Thank you.
very good stuff. Can use for your revision. And if you can reproduce this during exam, sure can get 20 marks, guarantee.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully
So,
can reverse
go
it.
and
Like
take link. No benefit from this. No need to go through. You go through this whole essay. You completed the whole thing. Okay, so good try. So you post out to them. So helps those people who go for exam. Any more question?
Excellent. Very good.
So you save your work. You revision. You use her work. Revise the whole topic. This year will be more simple for you.
Spread all those things together.
This year all essay on. So please prepare to write more. I mean, it's unlike the first 2 years. You can write as much as, I mean, not many sentences, but if you can come up with this kind of standard, I can't say they can't turn the 20 marks return to you. Should be 20 marks kind of A grade work. So hopefully you all can score as high as you all can. These are university standard. If you want, sure get 20 mark one. Unless the examiner the time very fussy. Important whether you can recall and duplicate in the exam hall. That's another thing. I think quite impossible. So do whatever you can. You try all this,
Yeah.
and almost all the topic they set cannot run away.
Yeah.
So this year is just the Mission Impossible. All they set on all the topics. So don't worry. You got plenty of time until June.
Problem is how to remember and during the exam how to produce it.
You see how much you can go in. If you can reproduce the same standard, no way they can stop you from scoring 20 marks.
You don't have to go to that extent.
Up to you. It's you who do the exam, not me.
Okay.
Any more question? No question, then we close the session. So next session, brother go do it.